How does day trading work? Now, this is our software, Day Trader Genius. I'm going to show you how it can work, and it should work if you have a good system. But more or less, we're going to be buying and selling pretty quickly. And you're going to see a couple different things. Over here, this is my main chart. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open this up. So this is just 1 minute per candle, and I'm looking for those signs like K-band and background color like we got right there. And all this stuff over here is market data. So I always trade with the market. That's why it's all over here. It's not important that you know the details of what each one of these are right now. Yeah, so we have the buy and sell buttons right here. And when I actually own the position, it will be managed from my positions window right here. So I'll click buy. In this case, the stock is going up, so I'll be buying a call. If the market gives me some support, you can see that the green over here is not working out right now, and it's not really overwhelmingly convincing over in this the main list here. Now, people pay a lot of money for getting lists provided for them by people and their opinions. Well, I like just knowing what's going on. Just from the, show me where the volume's at, show me where the action's at, not where you think it's going to be. This also is a really handy indicator. Right now we have a market going up. 12 is a pretty good number, but we're looking for green or red over here, not yellow. It's not always going to be perfect, and that's why practice is critical. So right here I see a volume spike. I'm not interested in this trade at the moment. It's really not looking good. This is called a doji, and doji means, imagine a fight between a bull and a bear, and we don't know who's going to win. One of them's got brass knuckles, the other one's got a knife, and we have no idea who's going to win. So it could continue going up, it could turn around. Right now it looks like it's going flat, so I'm not going to be getting into this trade, but it did look a little bit not too bad for a second here, because we had those signals we were talking about earlier. We had background highlight, we had K-band, and now we have trend. So it's looking not too bad, but again, we need more market support. I need these things to be telling me it's doing good. Now this chart right here is the SPY. The SPY is very, very important, because when we talk about what the market is doing, we are talking about the SPY and the basket. So the basket, this is actually what our system provides for us. It makes every day going through all the, like 5,000 plus stocks. Actually, it's a little bit above 6,000 depending on the day. It sorts out and it says, these are the best ones for today. These ones, that's it, out of 5,000, 6,000 stocks. And then it makes a aggregate chart out of all of the best stocks for the day. So you know what the top performers are doing on the day. You also know what, well, you can choose whatever SPY. I can make a mini chart for Facebook right here. So if I wanted to, all I did was I came over to the Facebook, and I can make this like a small chart just like this one, but I don't need that because I have the big chart right here for it. So that's why all these things are in place. This is telling me the power, just like in the tour, you guys saw some of the things that are going on. You can watch the trade of the day, figure out what exactly, why I have these things here. Looks like a lot, but it's not. All I'm looking for is continuity. I need green or red in this Power Genius, same color in here, same color over here. And this is telling me what's going on from a cyclical perspective in the market. So it's pretty simple. If you have red over here and green over here, well, then it's not a good time to trade. So we're looking at this. We just got K-band highlight again. We've got a Y point right here, looking at possible breakout if it goes up, but it's really not happening today. There's nothing really going on yet. So I'm going to be staying away from these trades because this falls in the category of hope and gambling. Nothing's really going on. I want it to be going on, but that does not fit my rules. So here's a good example. We have green over here. We have negative numbers in the yellow category over here, and we have a mixed situation that maybe just turned a little bit green. This is telling me, dude, it is not good to go. So don't touch it yet. All right, so we're gonna sit and we're gonna wait for the right moment. Okay, so we have Netflix doing a little rogue action today. As you can see, we have background highlight, K-band, it turned off for a little bit, and then it turned back on. It's looking like it pushed almost up towards the previous high. That was there for me as well. So this is getting in too late. This would have been good to notice it right around here, but we weren't paying attention to Netflix because it's lower on the list than Facebook. Facebook's up top. It's actually better for day trading. As you can see, there's no skull and crossbones in the quad. Skull and crossbones, let's just show you what that means. This means, hey, something's not right with this option. Maybe the spread's too big. Maybe the implicit volatility is too big. Maybe the open interval is just a little, outside of the norm. We need specific conditions. So as you can see, it's not a bad trend happening, but you are day trading. Day trading means that you've got to pay attention to the details. Or you can just say, hey, look, skull and crossbones. All right, cool. I don't need that one. Let's go up to Facebook. All right, we've got, hey, none of these have skull. That means conditions are actually primed for when you see a move to get in and get out quickly with money. That's very important because even if you have a good trend on a skull and crossbones, let me show you right here. What was it? LRCX. There we go. So even if you get in on this trend right here, the chances of you making money with a spread that's so large like this is way less because the price action it moves really quickly and it's not always in line with the stock. So if the stock goes down a little bit, you may not see the value increase in your put. Well, that's because all these other factors play in part because we're options day traders here. So you got to pay attention to this. Again, it's really easy. There's no analysis of numbers. Let the computer do the number work let it do the math for you. Just sit back, relax, and pay attention. That's it. So Facebook's better today. We're just waiting for a move, and right now no one's really trading this. We had a little bit of a buying situation right here, but it's really not impressive at this moment. And on the SPY, again, look at that. It's just sitting right there on top of a pivot. A pivot is a very, very strong point of resistance or support. In this case, it's providing support right now. It looked like it may be going down and might be resistance in a little bit. So we'll just wait it out and find out how it all plays out. And if the moment comes up, we're going to trade, get in, get out, and that's it. This is the time in the live market to develop your scan. Your scan is what are you looking at and why. Now, on this side of the screen, we have a lot of data going on, a lot of numbers flying around, a lot of colors flying around, but that is essentially not, you're going to get overstimulated and you're going to make bad decisions if you focus on the details. What you're looking at is general conditions. So we have the market here, these two charts, they need to be saying the same thing. Well, right now we have green background and red background. This is the current candle. That tells me things are not that good right now today in general. That means, okay, the market's not really doing that great. I don't have continuity in these two charts. I should have continuity if I am trading with the market. The second thing is this is going to be red or green. When the conditions are good in the market, it's going to be either green up here or red down here. If it's yellow, let it mellow. Let it figure itself out. Don't try to anticipate something that's not showing you that it's not happening. And then also up here you got a lot of reds and greens. It looks like Christmas. I love Christmas, but I don't like seeing those colors together on this list when I'm trading or in any of these indicators. I like seeing all green or all red. And down here it's looking really, really weak. How high these histogram bars are indicates power in the market. So we need these being up high, up here, and we want them to being generally the same color. So we have green background here. It just came out of the red background, so maybe we'll get some continuity. It's, again, guys, it's really, really weak. So developing your scan, all I do is I shift my eyes over from here. All right, nothing's going on top stock. Okay, Baidu, guys, Baidu's crazy today. Wow, look at that. But skull and crossbones everywhere. Remember what we talked about. It is very, very difficult to gauge if you're going to make a profit. I mean, this is like gunslinging over here. You just standing there and then ready, set, go. You got to pull your gun out and shoot. Oh, man, maybe you won, maybe you didn't. But that's exactly what is happening when these stocks behave like this. You do not want to trade on these conditions. It's not optimum for day trading. This is high risk, very high risk, I would say. And we want to be in the low risk category because, contrary to everyone's belief, day trading is actually lower risk than most other kinds of interactions with the market, because you're in, you're out, and then whatever happens afterwards, it does not affect you. That is low risk. Okay, so we have some green popping up right here. That's a little bit higher power. We got some power going on right here. More or less green in this situation. We have a little bit of a breakout, really low volume. You know, it's not that impressive. We're right near a big price, 175. Let's see what happens. Okay, we just broke above it and it came right back down. That tells me that there's some selling orders that were sitting here. Let's see what happens. I like to imagine a battle right now. Who's going to win the battle? Let's see. We do not have overwhelming market support right now, so I am not going to be quick to get in. I'm going to be relaxed, and hey, you know what? I don't care if it goes up or down. Doesn't matter to me. If it goes up and it looks good, I'll get in. If it goes down, well, the conditions are actually better for going up today because of where everything's going and where this stock is relative to the opening price. So I'm just going to hang out. We just fell out of signal. So for me, I get to sit back and relax and wait for the next opportunity. We almost have one right here, except for the volume turned the momentum around. So there's a lot of people that are hesitating today. When the buyers buy, there's just as many sellers out there ready to sell, and it looks like 175 is a point of resistance right now. So it's going to have to get above 175 and hold for this to be in the category of a lower risk trade. So we'll wait for it. In the meantime, let's look at some other stocks. Tesla's pretty big. All right, so this is one that we were not paying attention to. Again, we got the skull and crossbones everywhere except for right here. Look at that volatility. Oh, now they're all skull. The volatility is very important because if you get into a stock, this actually happened to me several times. In fact, it happened to me yesterday where the stock took off in one candle. It was like this. And the value of my option, it took off as well. It went up really, really high, and then all of a sudden it came back down really, really quickly. Now the value changed really quickly because the implicit volatility was so high. So what this tells me is there's a lot of people that are buying and selling really quickly today. And there's some other conditions that create the implicit volatility. But what it essentially refers to is the rate of value change in the actual option itself when the stock moves. So if the stock moves a little bit, the value actually could move a lot. If the stock moves a lot, the value could actually move a little bit and then shoot up. Imagine like a rubber band. So if you were to move your hand up and then all of a sudden you let go of the rubber band, there's a delay there between the price action. Just like the rubber band, you have to let go of the rubber band for the price action to catch up. So it's just like that, and it can be a little unpredictable. You're looking for bigger moves here. But again, guys, is that what you want? It's not what I want. So we'll go back to a little bit of a better situation today. Okay, so we're gonna get an opportunity to see where the support is on Facebook, if there even is any. So we're gonna find out. Does it go back down to the opening price? Does it sit on the previous high? Or does it go down to the dollar mark here at 174? We're gonna find out, and we'll probably know where the next volume spike is. So you can see a little volume here, a little volume here. Nothing's really happening yet, so we're just gonna keep our hands off the trigger and watch it and observe. Oftentimes in flat markets like these, when we say flat, we mean that the stock's not really going trending up or trending down. It's just kind of being cyclical around the same price points. Oftentimes, you are going to get a lot of head fakes. Head fakes meaning the stock looks like it's going to be trending up and then it stops and it just goes flat or it reverses. So these days, it's actually harder to trade, and it's actually more beneficial for anyone to just stay out. When you're sitting here and you're waiting, you're getting nervous or whatever the case is, it's better for you just to close the computer and walk away. But another thing to pay attention to is oftentimes in the morning when it's flat, the trends have better follow through a little bit later in the day, like around lunchtime. We're going to see if that does happen in the next, 30 minutes or whatever. But right over here, you can see most trades lack follow through, below average so far, cautious selective trading, normal volume, normal range. So rogues are okay. All right. This is telling me everything I need to know. So what we're looking at here is just a situation where we have to be patient. But guess what? Everything is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to practice patience. Yeah, I said it. Practice patience. It is a skill. If you want to do this and be really good at it, you have to be able to have discipline. You have to be able to focus on your rules and make sure that you are actually doing them. You are executing them in the way that you design them. If you do not, you're never going to make it. It is not something that you will be able to do with, a high variance in your emotions and your actions. It's really, really difficult. It's actually, depending on who you ask, it would be impossible to be a successful trader with just operating off of your emotions. So it's one of those things that you really got to pay attention to. Okay, so Facebook, we found a little bit of support right around 174, the dollar amount. This is the price of the stock. And we got a little volume spike. I'm not really impressed with that because it's not as clear. I mean, look how clear this one is. Look how clear this one is. There is a very, very clear resistance right around 175 where people are liking to sell the stock. And if we go back a little bit, we can see why. Well, all these people are having a great time. These are 1 day per candle. They were having a great time for a while, and then all of a sudden they woke up. This is no joke. They woke up the next morning, and their stock was worth, what is this? High of 218. So it closed at 217.50. The next day it opened at 176. Oh, wow. That is 50 something dollars of change per share. So all of these people, anyone who is, own the stock above the price that it's currently at, is not very happy, and they're scared. And when people get scared, they make decisions quickly. And when they make, emotionally based decisions, you can see that they're not going to be too happy about getting back into something that they just lost a bunch of money on. they're going to be a little bit more hesitant, and they're going to be more prone to sell. Often you'll see that behavior. So what we're seeing here is a little bit of buying and more selling, more consistent selling. So today on Facebook, we're probably looking at red until maybe later. We'll see. But we are getting a little bit of support, and it's breaking down below that support right now where the opening price is. So you can see if I were to draw an imaginary line right here, you would see that support. Oh, we don't have to. It's right here. So we're breaking out below that. We'll see how that works out. Okay, so we have a situation right now where we're starting to get more action on the stock that I'm choosing to trade today, which is Facebook. And it's been flat all morning, but we're starting to get background highlight, K-band, got a little resistance here, but the market is actually starting to move a little bit, getting green here, green here. So what we're looking at is maybe we'll get an opportunity to get a trade in. Probably going to be a quick trade today. Again, most trades lack follow through. And as you could see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, probably 3, 4, maybe getting up this towards this RA that's sitting right there. I'm not too confident that this is a good time to trade right now. However, we are seeing better conditions than what we saw earlier. So I will be paying a little bit more attention to my indicators just to make sure that if there's some opportunity that arises, I am ready to take advantage of it. Again, we're still looking at the quad, making sure conditions are good. We got the market genius. It's cyclical right now. We can see that. It goes red, green, red, green, red, green. It doesn't get more obvious than this. Now, right here, here's a question for you. Does this look like it's continuing to go up or maybe starting to lose a little momentum? Well, right now, I would say that we're probably losing a little momentum, and I'm not really confident that we're at the beginning of a green or a red trend. We're probably at the end or a higher risk of a green. Okay, so we changed it to 2 minutes per candle because we're getting later in the day. 10 o'clock right here, it's 10:17 right now, well 10:16, but we're in the 17th minute. So what we're looking at is we need to make sure that we can digest the information. So if I go back to 1 minute per candle, you can see that that's a little information overload. Let's make it a little more simple. Control 2, and that gives me 2 minutes per candle. This is easy to read. So we just got background highlight, K-band, no volume. There you go, it just fell out. But we're getting better and better over here on the market side. Oh, Netflix is telling me that I have a filter going off. Filters are preconditions that tell me that the stock is optimum to start a trend or stop a trend. In this case, it's been trending for a while, and this is probably going to be the end of the trend. So if I wanted to, I could reverse it. But again, today, I'm just not convinced that this is a good day to trade at all. So I'm going to leave it alone. As you can see, it's turning around right now. There is a lot of different strategies to make money very, very quickly in this program, but you've got to make sure you're not shifting from one strategy to the other, because your mind, as much as you think you can just turn it on and turn it off, there are other things happening that we are not aware of. So it's better to just stick to one style of trading per day. So today it's cyclical, it's flat. Netflix is looking good. It was not looking good in the quad earlier, but now it's looking pretty good. We got a turnaround again. I said you can build your filters to do this. It's not that difficult. And we have a video that shows you how to actually go back and build them. So get on it, guys, because when your filters are built, this is all you're worried about. As you could see earlier, I saw them going off right here. You can actually turn your sound on so the system tells you Netflix. That means your filters are going off. And we could make some good money here, but that's not what I'm doing today. I'm going to be doing trend trading today, and we got a slight uptrend and a flat market, so I'm going to be focusing on that. So we got green, yellow. At least we're getting good continuity in the SPY and basket, so that's good. And we got some good continuity with Facebook. It's doing exactly what the market's doing. So this is a really good sign. But there's no volume. That means that, watch, when the price gets to a certain point, you'll often see abrupt and fast changes because there's not enough volume, not enough buyers in this case to support the amount of price movement. So there's probably some sellers sitting around here. Let's call them those helpful poachers. All right, there we go. 175 big price. So if it breaks above 175 and holds, the next move will be our move. Now we've got a good decent breakout here in the market right here. Almost green here, looking mostly green here. Hey, there we go. All right. And as you can see, the following price action on Facebook should continue to confirm what we've been saying the whole time. We're at RA right now, a point of resistance. So I'm going to be hesitant. Again, we're looking for something very specific. Break above 175, show us a little bit of volume, show us some market support, and then we will consider the trade. Something interesting to note here is on the Market Genius, we have red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, green. So that tells me that there's some buyers in the house on the market, which is good because that's what we need for this move to occur. And that's it. Oh, all right. So again, we missed this because I wasn't paying attention. Again, filters are firing off, beginning, probably end. Really short trend right here. NVIDIA is actually looking pretty good. Now, this is the pattern that I would have liked to seen on Facebook earlier, but it is happening now. Well, it's happened now on NVIDIA. So you can see all the elements are there. Background highlight, K-band. We've got a trend line going here. We've got J-stop. We've got volume. Unfortunately, it's a little high risk right now, so we missed it. But it's a confirmation of our rules. It's looking good. Had we been sitting here paying attention to this stock, it would have been a good trade. All right, we got Netflix right here. It's looking pretty good. So what are we doing? All right, let's trend trade a little bit. Let's see if 344 holds. Again, we got filters firing off. The last time they fired off on this stock, it meant it was the end, and it looks like maybe that's the case. We're going to have to get a breakout above this mark right here for me to say that this would probably be the start, but it's looking like it's maybe the end. we have a good run on the market. So I'll just switch this so you can see. We have a good green run on the market, but we're still not very far away from the opening price. We're only been 32% of the average daily range. It was a slight gap this morning. Let me just check that for you. Yeah, just a slight gap. So it looks like we're about to break above a previous high. Gonna get some resistance right there, right here on the previous high. Let me expand that. Previous high, we're gonna definitely hit resistance here. Now, 282, it's proven to be a pretty big price for the SPY. So if we get above that and it holds, that's our conditions for going up. Let's go back to some of those good stocks. Okay, looks like it's continuing to go. It's hitting a previous high right now. So unfortunately, we did not get in this one when we should have because we weren't paying attention. Looks like a really good run though. I like just watching it. Now this is probably the end right here, given the volume increase and the area that it's hitting on RA, previous high, and a dollar amount. Boop. All right, high risk. There it is. There's the turnaround. So got to pay attention to these things, guys. Don't get caught up in getting excited, because if you're excited, you're probably wrong. Okay, so Facebook, long time to get up that high, real short amount of time to come back down. So there's some sellers out there, let's just say that. And now the selling was at 175, now it is at RA. So, oh my gosh, what's that mean? If the selling point is getting lower, what does that mean for the stock? Well, let's find out where the buying point is. We got a volume right here, so if we get support, that support will be higher than last time it got support. So maybe we'll have something, but you don't want to be getting involved with stocks that are behaving like that. You want to be getting involved with stocks that are behaving like this. Oh, there's just a little bit of sellers in the house. Mostly there's buyers. All right, welcome back. It's been a while. Facebook, as you can see, had a nice downtrend, but it's still in the gunk area. Whew. I just did a lot of exercises because of how boring it was. I need to stay mentally alert, and that's one of my rules is don't just sit here and stare at the screens, dude. Get up and do something. Remain physically fit, mentally fit, emotionally fit, spiritually fit. That's very, very important when you're going through this stuff. So I may be a little out of breath for this part of the video, but it's a good thing. So Facebook, it's heading down towards a pivot. It's very, very important. This morning was so boring, but as you can see, we're actually heading downwards. So we got some space over here on the SPY. Oh, we just got a pretty good marker right here. We had a nice filter firing right here. I wasn't going to trade it again. You know, it's a bad day. It's not really, you know, it was a bad day. Now we're getting into the territory of being possibly tradable, I should say. So I'm a little bit, I'm looking at this with skepticism, but we do have a pivot. We got a cyclical market so far. It's coming up onto, you know, we're in lunchtime. I don't usually trade in lunchtime, but, you know, again, I told you guys earlier in this video that oftentimes when it goes flat in the morning, the better moves are later on in the day. You know, typically they'll start around lunchtime too. That's 11 to 1 o'clock. So we have filters firing off. We just hit a pivot, so high risk for me. I'm not going to touch this. However, what I'm looking at now is saying, all right, pivot. That means change direction. Possible. I'm going to see how this plays out in the market. As you can see, red is everywhere. I love when it does this. Got red over here, red over here, red over here. This is good. I like this. Is really good for us because now we get to actually have continuity. We can probably make some trades that make sense instead of just hoping. So let's see what happens. All right, you can see how Facebook is having a hard time breaching below the pivot. The market is growing in volume down here on the SPY. It's been trending down for a little while, probably around 30 minutes now. Yeah, more or less 11 o'clock. Well, the market actually went through a pivot as well. So this could be an opportunity for it to reverse. But again, everything is red, guys. That's just speculation. I'm not going to act on that until I have some proof. Remember, you know, on days like this, I have different categories, and you need to create yours as well. What kind of trades am I doing today? Am I buying? Am I holding through a trend? Am I buying and getting out really quickly? What is the day? For me, I'm not going to be holding on for too long, just given the overarching situation of the flat market. It can be unpredictable. You know, things can happen really quickly. You need to be agile. You're going to hear us say that a lot in all of our training videos. Agility is the most, well, let's just, in respect to the natural world, it is one of the most important attributes to practice and have as a day trader, because if you just get out, if something goes against you, it can't get worse. By definition, it cannot get worse. But if you hold on, it can get a lot worse. So make a rule, follow the rule, keep the rule, don't ever question it, and have a great trading career. So, all right, my heart got calmed down a little bit from that exercise. Feeling good. Looks like we got a little bit of a breakout below the pivot. We got a dollar market 172. You know, I got a Y point here. I'm just not convinced because it's such an old trend. Yeah, I'm on 3 minutes per candle too. It's been going down generally for 30 minutes, a little bit over 30 minutes. I'm just not convinced that this is a good time to be getting in for a put. So I'll wait until the opportunity presents itself to me. I may do one of two things. If we get a phenomenal red new trend, I'll go for a trend trade. If we get a really clear reverse, I may do a cycle trade on this. So it's really one of two categories. Earlier in today, I was only interested in trend trading, but took a break. You know, we're seeing some good trends going down here, but it's not really moving far away from the open. I mean, we're only 56% on the Facebook and 50% on the SPY. So it's just not really a great day. Now the filters are helping out a lot, but you know, oftentimes, again, you're always going to be better than the computer. All these tools are just helping. You should be able to read the situation and use your best judgment to make the best possible trades. So right now I see filters, that's great, but I also know the kind of day it is, so I'm not going to be touching it until I have overwhelming support for one of my two strategies that I'm considering doing today. All right, so we have a bounce off the pivot. It's pretty clear. Fell out of K-band and Y point. Well, it just went back into K-band on both the SPY and Facebook, so maybe we have to wait a little bit longer. But in terms of risk, I think it's more risky to be going down right now given the cyclical nature of the morning and how most trades lack follow through. I think it's actually safer, if I was going to trade right now, to be doing a cycle trade, so essentially making money on a reversal. But I'm not going to do it right now because we're still in the middle, we're in the thick of it. May need another 5 minutes, 4 minutes, just depends. So we're just going to watch it, we're going to wait, we're going to be patient, and when we see our moment, we'll get in and then we'll get out, and that's it. So here we are, we got a really nice red looking candle right here, nice volume spike. It has gone through a pivot. We got all of our filters firing off. The market is supporting it. It's late in the trend, so I'm not going to be getting into this one. And we're right at 172. This is getting this is getting better and better. So I'm seeing good movement. I'm seeing a lot of range in the candles. I'm seeing good volume-driven candles. I'm seeing all those things that create the conditions for getting in and getting out with a nice profit pretty quickly, which is what I like to do. So everything is red. I'm going to wait for a little bit of support, and then we're probably going to be getting in here very soon. As you can see, the stock is continuing its trend downward, and this is really good. So this is creating those conditions that we talked about earlier for a possible cycle trade. Again, it's really, really late in this trend, so I'm not going to be trend trading this, even though all of the signs are telling me it's going in the downward direction. The reason why I'm not considering a trend trade is because the way it worked out is I did not get in early in the trend. And my rules state very clearly, if you don't get in within the first or second candle, you do not get in. And that's it. So I am not getting in, even though this is a really good looking red trend. It just didn't, all the things weren't there at the same time. So it's okay. I'm not concerned about missing out on anything. Those days are over for me. So we're going to be waiting for a different kind of trend to use this. I'm not seeing a lot of buyers yet. Now, when you see even the buying earlier, it was very low and the selling was pretty big, and then we get these good red trends. So I'm going to need some serious volume with some buying to even consider getting into this at all. Remember, this is not the time to get into a put. It's too late. Let it go, relax, and then either change your strategy, something that you've practiced thousands of times, or just let it go altogether. Do not get involved thinking that this is going to continue going down. It's already gone so far. So one thing I do want to check is there was a gap earlier today. This is 15 minutes per candle. Here is the gap right here. We just came down. This will be a level of support at 172, and 171 has also some support right there. So I'm going to keep that in mind when we're moving forward, looking for possible trends to trade. Now, my plan is to cycle trade this, but it's just still looking generally red, so maybe there's no buyers out there today. We need high range. That's what we need. So as you can see here, we have volume spike. It went down, filters are firing off. It looks like it's going to come back and go green. That's not good enough. There are not a lot of buyers in the house right now. And you can tell by the difference between the red candles and the green candle right here. So we're going to need these to be similar, the same, or even bigger. We're going to want to see a lot of buying coming on to get into a cycle trade. You do not want to get involved. These are the head fakes. As you can see, these little green candles. When you see good red candles that are creating trends like this, and all of a sudden you see little green candles, the trend's probably not over from a risk standpoint. It could stop and flatten out, but again, that's not tradable. We need tradable moments. So right here, I'm not convinced. Okay, we've got a Y point. It may come up. It may actually do what I think it's going to do, but it's not a tradable moment. The tradable moments are the ones that are obvious. So we have a clear support line at 171.50, and now it looks like there's less resistance to the buying that's going on. It's still not high volume buying, which is what we want. Again, this falls in the category of, dude, I'm not touching it. Even though it's doing what I wanted it to do, I'm still not touching it because we need those underlying conditions to really be there. Okay, so we're falling out of the, well, we went back into it, but we're getting out of the red background here, falling out of K-band. This is not the time to trade. We need clear signs. Like, for example, these red candles right here have a lot of volume and they got market support and all these other things going on. Guess what? I'm not interested in these, because whoever sold here, they may be waiting for it to come back a little bit to sell again at a better price. That happens all of the time. So what you can see right here, this is the pattern that I'm talking about. The price went up, a big buyer came in and sold. Price went up again, and maybe the same guy, I don't know. We have to do some research on that one. It doesn't matter. The same prices are happening. The selling is big, and I'm not really convinced that this is a good time to buy. So it may continue back up to the pivot. That's great. It's just not a tradable moment. It doesn't fall into my criteria. All right, here's that inconsistency we were just talking about. Went up, looked good, not enough volume, and now it's playing around, being very inconsistent. That sense of feeling came from thousands of repetitions. So you're going to see that. You're not going to be able to see that when you do 100 reps. You're not going to be able to see that when you do 200. You're going to be able to start seeing that kind of stuff when you get above 1,000 repetitions in replay. This is the live market, so the price fluctuation, is very important. I recently saw a interview with Hank Aaron, one of the best baseball players to ever live. And throughout that interview, well, one of the questions that he was asked was very interesting. He said, how did you do it? Generally speaking, like, how were you so good? How were you such an outlier? What was the difference between you and the other people? He said, you know what? It's actually pretty simple. He goes, before I stepped up to the plate to bat, I knew exactly what I was going to swing at and what I wasn't. I knew that my chances for success were much higher if I waited for the right pitch. And that right there says it all. Trading is the exact same. So right here, even though the stock did what I thought it was going to do, it wasn't the right pitch. It was kind of the right pitch, but that means it's not the right pitch. So I'm going to wait for a better moment, and that's it. That is from one of the greatest performers of all time. So never forget that lesson. Define it. Predefine your trades. If it happens the way you think it's going to happen, get in and get out if anything goes wrong as soon as possible. All right, so we're having some interesting behavior. Look at this buy, and now let's watch how it behaves. We're back up to the pivot again, and let's see. The market is not supporting this move, so this is very interesting. What do we do with this? Well, we don't get in because it's so crazy right now. We're going to wait for a second. We're going to see how this plays out. But what we know now is that there's buyers in the house. That's very good information. So let's see if we can leverage it real quick for a trade. Just going to watch how this price action happens and where it actually levels out. But we got a nice amount of buying happening right here. So this may be something to get on. All right, so we have the market hitting a level of support. We're going to keep our eye on this massive amount of volume, looking real good right now. There's a fight going on right now as to who's going to win, the Bulls or the Bears right here. So we're going to let them play out, let them fight, let them figure it out. Let's get a little bit of market support over here. It is 12 o'clock, 12:02. So this could be our opportunity. Looks like the market's going a little bit red here, and Facebook is not following that. Again, we got Rogues okay right here. So if we get some good price action, you may want to capitalize on that. What I do know is that there's a big buyer in the house. So this could trigger other buyers, or it also could trigger other sellers. Oftentimes you will get that too. That's why I'm letting this thing play out right now. Big red candle on the market. just passed through 280.75 on the SPY. And this candle was eaten up by all the sellers. It was just eaten up. So we know that there's quite a bit of sellers in the range of this candle. Went all the way up, it came all the way back down. But okay, there's still the battle going on. Nice red candle down here in the SPY. It's a pretty big sale actually. And when you consider how many shares, 600,000 plus at 285. Okay, so we're getting that upward momentum. Right, so let's see what happens on the market. If we get a little bit of a support. Okay, there it is. All right, so we're filled real quick. You can see how fast that happens. It'll show up here in a second, and we'll manage our position. And that's it. So we're at one. Oh, so what we're doing here is we're looking at the price action. We got a quick trading strategy. We're at 1%. We want to make sure we're paying attention really quickly. So we're at a pivot right now, jumping around 2%, 3%, 4%. All right, if it jumps back up there again, I'm just going to get out at 4% because I'm not really liking, I don't like staying in too long. You know what I'm saying? So 4%. All right, let's GTFO on that one. And we're filled. Guys, that is it. 40-second trade. That's it. 4.6%. I'm going to have to look at the actual trade log to figure out. I'll do that for you right now. Let's see. All right, so we got in at 316, got out at 329. So I do 329 minus 316 equals 13. 13 divided by 316, our entry price, 4.1%. We were in for a grand total of 39 seconds. And that's it. Remember, this is grinding it out. Oh my gosh. The only reason I stayed in is because I'm making the video. I waited for, let's see, 1 hour, 2 hours, 2.5 plus hours to get 4.1%. Look, it's possible. You just have to wait for your moment. This is not a normal trading pattern for me. I usually shut the computer off after the first hour, 10:30, if it doesn't look good, because I've learned that it's not worth sitting around for a 4%er or a 10 or a 20%er later in the day for me, because the beginning of the day provides so often very good opportunities. Remember, when you're doing your trading, you have to predefine everything. You only operate within the limits of what you decide works from practice, thousands of repetitions. Okay, guys, if I can leave you with one last thing, it's practice, practice, practice. Use the tools. They work very, very well, as you can see, and be patient. Don't be patient. Practice being patient, waiting for that right moment to get in and get out with a nice profit. So 4%, that is really good, and especially on a horrible day. Guys, I'm going to go to the beach. Okay, thanks for watching, and remember, stick to your plan.